Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So today, let's talk about this. Coinbase. Yes, Coinbase holds 5% of all Bitcoin in existence. Wow. It's finally been discovered and confirmed. I've said this for years, that Coinbase holds a lot more Bitcoins than people know because they've been around for so long. And they also have a ton of hidden wallets they have never ever disclosed. So who discovered this? Well, Arkham's been making a lot of discoveries recently, right? Ever since they came out, they've just been finding more and more things. Not always correct. Sometimes they've caused panic. But this time around, they decided to just look at this. They're looking at all the wallets, right? I don't know. Maybe they're tracking all the transactions, all the wallets from the very beginning that Coinbase has ever transferred to or whatever. I don't know what they did. But in conclusion, they have identified that Coinbase, and it could even be more than this. This is just what they have found so far, that they have about $25 billion worth of Bitcoin, about 5% of all Bitcoins in existence, which is equal, right? So it's about 1 million Bitcoin. So that's as much as Satoshi himself and way more than even MicroStrategy. That's just insane, right? I've always talked about these big boys buying behind the scenes, OTC market. And people are wondering, well, where does the Bitcoin come from? Like, where is it? Well, you know, this is why so many people buy from Coinbase, because they have so much Bitcoins sitting there, right? And none of this is on their exchange. This is just like kind of like stored away in wallets. And who knows how much Bitcoin Cash they hold? Because obviously when Bitcoin Cash forked, they got just as much. So they may even hold like, I mean, it's insane how much Bitcoin Cash they hold. Also Litecoin. When Charlie Lee started Litecoin, he was working for Coinbase. And I was looking at the very few, like 1,000 transactions. They were all Coinbase transactions mining Litecoin. So I would not be surprised if Arkham later on finds out that they hold like 10% or 20% of Litecoin reserves or Litecoin in existence. I mean, Coinbase is just huge, absolutely huge, because they've been around for a long time, right? So all these OTC trades, you may be wondering where they're coming from. Well, this tells you, I mean, this confirms it. They have plenty of Bitcoin to sell. But imagine when Bitcoin reaches $200,000, $250,000, $1 million, Coinbase is going to be one rich company for sure. They'll be worth trillions in the future. So just want to lead off with that story because that's pretty amazing to think about, right? And it's amazing to think that these other big boys like BlackRock and Fidelity's of the world, right? They're trying to play catch up. How much are they going to buy, right? If Coinbase can have 25 billion of Bitcoin and these other big guys, right, they have trillions in assets already. $25 billion of the Bitcoin is nothing to BlackRock. It's nothing to Fidelity or Vanguard. BlackRock holds 11 trillion in assets. 25 billion is barely a drop in the bucket. So imagine when they get real serious and they're really buying. OTC market is going to dry up. There's not enough Bitcoin for those guys, right? So this is why we need to accumulate before they buy up everything. I mean, it's just quite simply that simple, right? Now, outside of just holding an enormous amount of Bitcoin and everything else, Coinbase itself, you know, their base chain is doing very well. TVL is now above 400 million, even higher than Solana. And Base has only been out for a very short amount of time, right? So Base is a huge success. And also that one social company, Friend.tech, is still exploding upwards, adding a whole bunch of volume to BASE. So right now, they are doing very, very well. Very well indeed. But if you're thinking about, well, how do I profit from this? BASE does not have its own native token. They use ETH for transactions. So the only way to take advantage of it is, I guess, to buy Coinbase stock. That's really it, because they don't have any plans for like a token or airdropping tokens or anything like that. But anyways, they're doing very, very, very well. But speaking of BlackRock, someone looked at this. This Meister or Mr. Crypto is looking at how Coinbase keeps seeing these big, massive Bitcoin withdrawals. Okay, you can see circled here, right? Who's buying all the Bitcoins? Who's withdrawing? Well, it's likely that it's these big boys like BlackRock and Fidelity and everyone else, ARK, everyone that wants to come out with a spot Bitcoin ETF. And speaking of spot Bitcoin ETF, I don't know why this is so blurry, but we got some deadlines coming up, okay? That's coming up very shortly, less than a month. So in October, we will get another round, and we'll see if SEC, Gary Gensler, is going to cave. He's going to cave one way or another. So it's either going to be this time in October, or we have to wait until January or March of next year. I'm still thinking he's going to wait until March to approve the very first spot Bitcoin ETF. And that's okay, because that's right before the halving event. That's just going to add fuel to the fire, okay? But there are many that think that, no, it's going to be much sooner. It's going to come this year. If so, then, this is our last opportunity in October. I guess there's one, ARK Invest, ARK 21 shares, theirs is in November. So I guess technically, if this gets delayed past October, we got one more to look forward to in November, right? Then we go into January. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting. They delayed, obviously, September 1, right? So it's only been a month. But, what excuse do they have? They don't have any more excuses to give out, right? They lost the Grayscale lawsuit. So basically, they can't say, oh, we can't allow Bitcoin spot ETFs because of manipulation or fraud, because that's just too generic. They can't use the same reasons anymore. So they have to come up with new ones, and they don't have any good ones to say, right? So it's looking good. It's looking good. It's just a matter of when, not if. Just like this. It's a matter of when before we hit 48,700, which is a very important 78.6% Fibonacci level. And according to this person, Titan in Crypto, well, he's like, look at all previous cycles. Every single one before the halving event, Bitcoin hits this important 78.6% level. Then afterwards, Bitcoin starts rocking. That's when we get into the parabolic phase, right? But every single cycle, we have hit it before the halving event, right? Sometimes it's very close to the halving event. Sometimes it's a little further out. But we're 7 months left. There's not that many months left. So we will be hitting that 48,700 mark. Could be as soon as October or November if we get those spot Bitcoin ETFs approved. That would mean only 5 months left before the halving event, right? So it's all coming together. It's all coming together really nicely. We are following the same path as before, okay, or many times before, right? We're getting closer and closer to the halving event. And next year, 2024, the quadfecta year, is going to be absolutely mind-boggling. It's going to be spectacular. Spectacular in so many ways. I'm looking forward to it, right? We're just getting so close now. So close. And if you zoom out even more, and you're looking at this from a year perspective, right? I think it's pretty easy to spot the pattern. Okay, you have one bad year, and then you have 3 recovery years, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We had a very bad year in 2022. 2023 is so far so good. And then we will get another year, the 4th year, the parabolic year. And then we start over, and then we just keep going on and on and on. I mean, we're following the same pattern as before. Nothing has changed, right? So definitely a good time to be in the space. Good time to be greedy, not time to be fearful. If you're fearful right now, you're going to be kicking yourself down the road. That is for sure. And of course, addresses that's holding anywhere from 0.1 to 1 Bitcoin, all-time high, close to 1.1 million addresses. Now, a lot of people have more than one, so I would say it's more like 500,000 or 1/3 of a million in terms of the number of people that hold this much Bitcoin. I don't think it's actually over 1 million at this point, but if any of you guys watching have already hit 1, you are way, way, way ahead of the game. Way ahead. In the future, when Bitcoin is at 500,000, $1 million, $10 million, you will be in the upper echelon, the point, not even the 1%ers. You will be in the 0.01 percenters. Because at that point, it would be virtually impossible for people to accumulate 1 Bitcoin. That's what you're supposed to do. Accumulate when things are low. And, you know, it's one of those, if you think about it, a lot of things in our life, you know, it's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, right? You could make the argument with, say, real estate too. You know, 20, 30 years ago, there are many towns that were just farmlands, right? You could have bought up a lot of land. But to buy the equivalent amount of land now, after they've been developed, it's virtually impossible because now it's 1,000 times, 10,000 times more expensive. Same thing. You know, you go back to the early days, okay? I don't know. I was not around, but like I would think you go back to 1920s, 30s, after the Depression, right? Cities were not nearly as developed as they are now, right? Could have, if you had money back then and you were around back then, you know, you could have picked up city blocks probably, right? Can you pick up city blocks now? No, it's virtually impossible. So that's kind of the thing. It's like once the opportunity passes by, you can still get in. It's just, you just missed out on so much. The same doing Bitcoin. A lot of people could have got in Bitcoin when it was like $10, right? You can't do that. You can't buy nearly as much now as you could have when it was $10, right? But it'll be the same thing. One day when Bitcoin is sitting at $1 million each, your friends will say, you know, I hold $5,000 of the Bitcoin, $10,000 of Bitcoin. But they bought it when Bitcoin was $1 million, right? And you could tell them, well, you know what? I bought in at 10,000 or 5,000 or 20,000, right? I didn't buy in at $1 million. I bought in when it was way lower, right? And they'll never be able to do that. The opportunity will pass and they'll never, ever be able to say, well, I did that too, right? So it's one of those lifetime kind of opportunities that you don't want to miss out on. Anyways, rambled on a little bit there, but it just, if you think about it, it's just how it is with anything, right? JP Morgan says Ethereum activity post Shanghai upgrade has been disappointing. I'll guarantee, and Altcoin Daily, I'm glad he posted this. Basically, he's saying, I guarantee you JP Morgan is actively buying Ethereum. Because this is what the big boys do. They try to mislead you, right? So if they've been saying it's disappointing, that means they've been buying and buying and buying and buying, and they've been loading up. And when they're ready to sell, they'll say, well, Ethereum is doing really well and will go to 100,000. You know, their analysts say some crazy things too. So when they say that, that's when you know they're looking to sell. But when they do stuff like this, what they're doing is trying to get you to not buy and sell to them. That's just how they work. Okay. Keep in mind, JP Morgan was slapped for manipulating silver for over a decade. okay? And then they would slap with, I don't know what fine, you know, like a billion or two, but to them it's nothing. Did anyone go to jail? I don't think so. Did Jamie Dimon go to jail? No. They were caught for manipulating silver for a decade, yet, let's just slap them in a fine and life goes on, right? Imagine anyone in any individual caught for manipulating silver's price for a decade. They would be facing jail time for 100 years, right? But no, the banks are protected. That's just the way it is. And it doesn't seem like it's quite fair, right? Anyways, Ethereum fee levels have dropped to the lowest level in 2023, only $1.15 per transaction. That's pretty cheap. So right now, Ethereum, at least activity, is down, but the balance on exchange is also down. In fact, down. It's a 5-year low. There are definitely a lot of people like JP Morgan that's also buying ETH from the exchanges and pulling them out, and that's why the exchange reserves keeps going down for ETH, keeps going down for Bitcoin, and I'm sure it's going down for many others because the big boys are trying to stock up right now. It's just that simple. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's do a quick Q&A, and then I gotta run off. By the way, I told you guys I had some track fun this week, right? I put up my video on my channel, Drivers Only, this morning. So if you want to watch it, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not the greatest video ever, but it's a pretty good video. So go check it out. It's on my channel, Drivers Only. So just search Drivers Only, it'll show up. It's very fun. I want to go back. I definitely want to go back. All right, let's see if I missed anything. Let's see. Good morning. Colorado in the house. Yes. No wonder Kathy Wood and Blackrock are in with Coinbase. I mean, I've always said this. I know Coinbase. They've been around for so long. They have so many hidden wallets. Like I said, later on when Arkham will keep on identifying. I have no doubt when they actually find all the Litecoin in existence, yeah, Coinbase will be like the top holder. Like, I have no doubt, because Charlie was working on Coinbase when he created Litecoin, and everything, you know, was going directly to Coinbase. So, you know, they probably hold a ton of Litecoin, I should say, also Bitcoin Cash, and who knows, all the other early crypto that came out. They probably hold a ton of everything. So Coinbase is just, they're a beast. Blitz motor scooters. So does Coinbase own it, or is it people that have it on their shit? No, this is what they own. This does not count the people's Bitcoin. Dan is asking about Star Wars Andor. I never finished Andor because I think it's a silly series, to be honest. People have said it's a good series, but like, I don't know why you have a series about a side character, to be honest. And I did not watch the new Disney show with that girl. I don't know her name, but there was some few scenes with Anakin as, in his, I guess, years before he turns into Darth Vader. Those kind of scenes are cool, right? Because you have big gaps in between the movies, so they're trying to fill in those gaps, right, with this series. I don't know. If you're a big Star Wars guys, I think it's pretty cool. I think so far those Star Wars shows on Disney Plus have been pretty good. I just haven't watched a new one. And I got sick of Mandalorian too, because for some reason I love season 1. Season 2 was okay. Season 3, I hit that one episode about this one guy, like some scientist, and it was just super boring, and then I stopped watching it after that. Cryptomancer, I didn't say I like She-Hulk. I think you're putting words in my mouth. That show got really silly really fast at the end, so basically I don't watch anything on Disney Plus anymore. I subscribe because I like the Marvel shows, but they don't have any anymore. Loki season 2 will be good. I don't know when they're coming out with that. How can Coinbase have hidden BTC if they are a public trade company? I don't know. They just do. When it comes to crypto wallets, I don't think you have to identify every crypto wallet just because you're a public trade company. No one is supposed to know about it. But Arkham does. And who's to say? Arkham does not, just because they say this doesn't mean it's 100%. But I would assume that, their software has just been tracking every single transaction since the beginning. So they probably have a lot more information than anyone else, right? So that's what I'm assuming. So, but they have made mistakes before. They made some big mistakes before. Mislabeling wallets and stuff has caused the markets to crash. What was the biggest reason for BTC falling all-time high from 69,000 to 25? You mean to 15? The biggest reason is we're coming off from a peak, just like previous cycles. What's the reason why Bitcoin fell from 20,000 down to 3,000? Or what's the reason why it fell from 1,000 to $160? Because Bitcoin peaked and retail investors and or whales started selling off, right? That's how it's always been. So why did they sell off? Who knows? After the very first peak, when you have these parabolic blow-off tops, right? People take profits, and then other people follow. Then FUD happens, and it goes down, right? But then people kind of found this pattern and just kind of kept with it and kept going with it, right? Does that mean this pattern is going to exist forever? As we move into having 4, having 5, having 6, 7, 8, 9, will we always follow the same pattern as before? No. As the dollar amount of Bitcoin goes up, as more people continue to hold, and as institutions get in, things will change. We might not have these horrific drops anymore. We may have just small little drops, but then we just keep on going. We could have super cycles, as people like to call them, in the future. So, I guess we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Have a good Saturday. I will let you guys go. Overall, Coinbase, its secret has been revealed, but this is no secret. Bitcoin will go up, And we have so many good things to look forward to. So stay strong, my friends. Have a good Saturday, and I will see you guys on Monday, usual time, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. In the meantime, go check out the Clips channel, check out the new CRU Plus channel, and my Drivers Only channel. Plenty of content. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.